Hi there, I'm William Shatner. The Batman Superman World's Finest number 25 cover is coming out. It's terrific. People are excited, so am I. Maybe you will be too.
By gum, Captain! All the latest home videos in beta and VHS!
Aye, some so current, they're still in theatrical release.
Help yourself, mates. A chest full of video discs.
No!
Oh, what good are they? Can't record on them!
They're not compatible with my system.
Captain! This was locked!
Stand back.
Open up!
Gather around me, buckos, and feast your eyes on this. Make all the illegal copies you want. Put it on.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Hi, it's John Romita Jr. at San Diego Comic-Con. Fantastic Comics. He worked with the best shop in the world, hands down.
What's up, Doc?
My mama done told me bring home something for dinner.
For dinner? What's cooking? What's it you looking for?
Oh, don't tell me now, don't tell me. It's a rabbit.
Eat!
Alan Pearl. Interesting. How do these people, where do they come from? You know, sure, I'd seen him around. It would never have occurred to me to walk up to the dentist and say, you know, are you interested in this? But I was shopping for my wife, Bonnie. I buy most of her clothes. And Mrs. Pearl was in the same shop. And it just was an accident. You know, we started talking about pantyhose. She was saying, whatever, that's not the point of the story, but what the point was that through this accidental meeting, it's like, you know, it's like a Hitchcock movie where, you know, you're thrown into a rubber bag and put in the trunk of a car. You find people. You find them. Something. Is it karma? Maybe. But we found him. That's the important thing. And I got Bonnie a wonderful pantsuit.
What's your prediction for the fight, then?
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
I'm busier than a high-priced whore at an electronics convention. Right now, I'm in Valdosta, Georgia, for the annual folk festival in Jelly-Off. I'm supposed to be judging art, etc. Who are you? What do you want about? Come on.
Well, I'm Old Swerdlow, and this is the Ozark Mountain tradition, the song Story.
I'll decide what it's called, old. Just make with the art.
Well, alrighty. Let's get Limberlegs on up there. Old Limberlegs went walking down to old Miller's Creek, and when he saw that big old cow, he jumped back in the sink. Old Limberlegs, where you going?
All right, now stop that, old, stop it. I'm very sorry you had to see this, folks. Now, Mr. Limberlegs ain't wearing no clothes. I find myself to be aroused and titillated by all this.
Well, Senator, this is a tradition as old as a Georgia sunset.
Shut up, old. David, you see what I have to contend with? I got a naked puppet doing a lewd, lascivious fandango on the lap of a full-grown man. I got women over here dipping candles. Fella over there, he's got a butter churner. It's like a pioneer pawn shop in here. Close it down, boys. Close them down.
Senator, you're getting a little No, well, that's my Limberleg.
Remember the first time I saw your bike? You were riding past my house and I came running out to tell you how much I liked it even way back then?
I love that story.
Is that Henrietta Pussycat? The Henrietta Pussycat from the neighborhood of make-believe?
The same. Thank you, P. I use her as a shower mitt. Does that bother you, Quizboy?
Exactly, Lidge! That's a priceless artifact and part of our collective childhood, you monster!
I'm married to a woman.
These are all my regulars. You strike me as a angry top. I'm clean, but you do have to glove up unless you're down for some frottage.
Frottage?
It's French for rubbing our dicks together.
Hot stuff coming through.
Dad, why did you bring me to a gay steel mill?
I don't know. This is a nightmare. You're all sick.
Oh, be nice.
Tell me, Senator, did you nurse Catherine yourself?
What?
Did you breastfeed her?
Now, wait a minute.
Yes, I did.
Toughened your nipples, didn't it?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Amputate a man's leg and he can still feel it tickling. Tell me, Mom, when your little girl is on the slab, where will it tickle you?
Take this thing back to Baltimore.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and then we'll pull up them. We're gonna start with high chucks. Just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way,
I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents, our 212th get-together every Tuesday at 8 p.m. live, give or take a few moments. For those of you that are new here,
my name is
Yule Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. I am a comic book retailer, not just a YouTube host talking about comic books weekly. I own Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. We're open Wednesday through Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m. Thank you, Wes. Thank you, Aaron, on that episode of a Thinking Critical video. You know what? Since we're talking about Wes right now, I also clipped something from his Saturday Aficionados show. It was his birthday, and he had a bunch of people, and he has a bunch of people watching live and after the fact. And he said something to me, even though I wasn't there.
Speaking of songs to be played or sung.
We don't need to sing me happy birthday, but I do want to say something to my good friend Yule Carter. I received this, and this is a fantastic package here. I got the Batman Year One reprints that you sent me, as well as the faux 428 foil variant cover, and he sent me a Blood Hunt like calendar that's in 3D that my kids they're going to lose their little minds over this bad boy. They're going to love it. So I need to get hook up with Yule later and PayPal him some money, I guess.
No, that one was on me regardless. I mean, after you tell us it's your birthday, how can I then charge you? You've done so much for me and my channel, and I really appreciate our internet co-hosting, hosting, being on show duties that we've friendship that we've built, and that's from Fantastic Comics to you. Thank you very much, Wes. Also, Sully was on the show, and I hook him up from time to time, and other people that watch out there. And if you're able to, you should come into the store, because all sorts of fun things are happening, whether it's conversation. That's pretty much just conversation selling comic books. Sometimes it's some other stuff. And we get together and we talk about things that happen in the comic store, things about the comic store, things about the comic book industry, and sometimes conversation that doesn't usually happen in a comic book store. Or maybe, I don't get too crazy when it comes to like some of the stuff I hear. Secrets are secret. I understand. But when we get into some conversation that I'm then hearing outside of the comic book store, it's definitely something we have to talk about. But the very first thing we get together in and converse about is this. The Wrestling Minute, where we talk about wrestling for about a minute, maybe a little bit longer. There was all sorts of stuff that happened wrestling. There was a pay-per-view, but really, first and foremost, we should talk about that Ole Anderson. Oh, look, the WWE remembered him. I remember him. He was part of the Four Horsemen, original member, and one of the classic Anderson family members. People that aren't really related to each other, but look close enough alike, and we didn't have the internet, and if you weren't paying attention, it was believable. He was a like I said, part of the Horsemen, definitely a heel all the way through, and was super involved in like booking and stuff like that. Speaking of people that are known for their booking, QT Marshall is back at AEW after having left the company. It seems like he won't be wrestling for them and will be wrestling or being able to wrestle for other people, just not the WWE. Meanwhile, he'll be performing backstage duties for AEW. Speaking of AEW, this Wednesday will be the debut of Will Ospreay on Dynamite. And I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to this. He was one of the hottest free agents. And if you include Okada and Mercedes Moné, AEW has shored up the 3 hottest free agents. And they should be well on their way to something special. Speaking of something special, they will have Revolution this Sunday. And it'll be Sting's last match for the company. Along with Sting's last match, there's going to be a ton of other matches. Look, Will Ospreay is going to wrestle the Takashita guy. And Christian Cage and Daniel Garcia. Oh, joy. FTR and John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. Lance Archer and Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow. And Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson. My goodness. But that's not all. We're going to get Samoa Joe and Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland in a match. Tony Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. And Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong. And Sting's last match is going to be a tag match with Darby Allin versus the Bucks. Sting's a champion. So if he loses the belt, then he leaves the company a loser, leaves his career a loser, or he wins, and then the belts are held up for yet another one of their little things. The WWE had their Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia. The women's match was won by Becky Lynch, which is good because Rhea Ripley, who's a native Australian, defeated Nia Jax for the belt. And this Monday in San Jose, they faced off. Who out there really thinks Becky needs to eat a sandwich? I think she's just fine. But I hear it a lot from some people. The men's side saw Drew McIntyre win. And ladies and men, I chose that one above all the others. And that is your wrestling. All right, let me get that banner down. Do you watch any wrestling? I like wrestling. Not always, but it's pretty hot right now. WWE-wise, they don't really have a lot of time for anything else. And when the stories don't captivate me, you know what? I'm not going to get rid of that picture. I'm going to leave it up just for a second. Anybody else out there like Sting? I don't. Anybody else out there dislike Sting? I do. Not a fan. Never really have been. Don't think he was really all that big a deal. And anytime people like to talk about what a big deal he was, I think it's usually the other people he's with and maybe the situations or storylines, and not really Sting. He just kind of happens to be there. I know, radical thought. We're going to have a segment right now. It's called Mukbang. Side note, I actually already had some of this before, but this is from a customer, Battle Buddy, who might be in chat. He got me, and these beers, they usually go away pretty fast. I don't know if it's cease and desist because of the labeling or what. Last year, he got me one that kind of like had a Logan's Wolverine claws. Anyway, this one, Laughing Monk Brewing, have a hazy double IPA, and it's Master Bruce right there. And it says, bam, biff, pow. Sorry. There we go. It's got all these little bats all over it. So I actually know it's good. I like it. It should get me pretty messed up if I really get through this tonight. So cheers, y'all. Yeah, so that's a good mukbang. I like that. Good mukbang. Let me do it one more time. Just what does it taste like, you say? Why, it's effervescent. I don't know. It's pretty good on the tongue. Not bad at all. That's your mukbang. All right. Now, this is a very good time for me to say to each and every one of you out there right now and after the fact.
Hello. 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 Oh. Go. Look out. Hello.
Hello. I get away with that one. Early. And I didn't even let anybody know that this show was going to happen. It's always going to happen. Lane Kramer. Yule is looking ahead and cannot wait for more event comics. For more event comics that have 59 issues like Blood Hunt. My goodness. This is Lane Kramer and a dead horse. Bam! Continuum. Yo. Looking ahead. I'm all about living in the past. You don't buy enough back issues for me to consider you living in the past. But with your penchant for wanting to buy DC comic books, I could hook you up with some really good runs right now. Anybody else that's interested, I have some pretty solid condition. Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. We're talking Hal Jordan. We're talking Volume 1 of Wonder Woman. I've got Batman, Detective. I've been pricing those up and putting them in the bins anyway. So if there's something of a Bronze Age nature that you're looking for, let's not consider. I mean, obviously, everybody's looking for the keys, right? Erica Sullivan. Lane and Fantinuum beat me? Curses, drat, foiled again. Twirls mustache in an evil manner. Looking ahead, maybe conventions are coming up and I'm getting enthused. Boops for Gizmo. And then that's a Gizmo emoji. Let me see. Do I have it? Oh, what is going on? Hold on a second, guys. All right. Gizmo, for those of you that don't know, is my dog. He was a replacement dog for Pochi, the greatest dog ever. Gizmo's pretty close, so he's really grown on me. And look at that really cute picture of him in a box. Yeah, Gizmo's a good guy. Yeah, we all like him. Lane Kramer says, I posted that message 8 hours ago, and it's still up. My goodness, it doesn't always happen that way. Jill B. Pill in the other room. Hello. I surprised her with the little thing I've been working on. For those of you that come in the store, you probably already know about it. For those of you that don't, maybe we can do something about it someday. Good evening, Master Bruce, Battle Buddy says. The Lithid Lore. Hey, all. Dwayne Muth. Greetings, everyone. I like that. Joe with numbers. I thought fromage was cheese. Yeah, that one is fromage, I do believe it was. Oh, there's Jilby Pill with the answer. Fromage is French for cheese. Sylvan. Comic books are power. They are power. I agree. Lane Kramer. So for Wrestling Minute, do you think Alexa Bliss will ever come back to WWE, or do you think? Wait. Alexa Bliss. Well, I mean, she has a kid, if I'm not mistaken, or going to have a kid. She was the one that got pregnant, I do believe. I don't know. If she doesn't, that probably is for the best. She wasn't the greatest worker, and the last gimmick she had was playing off Bray Wyatt's character, and we already have Liv Morgan, you know what I mean? Also, Lane says, Yule is a giving soul. Gave me Batman and Robin #1 variant 2 at one point. He is awesome, and I'm going to get Blood Hunt #1 from Miss Yule. That is not polybagged. We'll be talking about that in a few moments. Let's see. I'm going to pass up a little bit. Jesus, they have more matches than Marvel has issues of Fall of X. That's right, you guys. That's great. Tall Can in the Air, Bat Beer. All right, lastly up. I got Prime 1, Poison Ivy, 1/3. Oh yeah, so Lane, if you want, put the channel that you sometimes frequent. He talks statues and stuff like that. So that's what he's going on here. Delivered me a Superman Volume 1 hardcover of the Williamson run. A little disappointed. It's first 5 issues in the annual, though. Are you kidding me? I love that stuff. Superman using his power to help Jimmy Olsen's villain girlfriend, but in doing so, he's not able to be there for Lex in quite the way he's supposed to. I liked it. Yeah, she had a kid back in November, December. Exactly. So who knows? Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Gizmo, for being there for me. In the other room, probably also. All right. Let's talk about Ole Anderson died. Last week, Ramona Fradon died also. And she was known for like doing DC Comics, Metamorpho, stuff like that. Aquaman, I do believe. I asked Joe if he had anything he could say about her, and he said that he had the opportunity to, Joe Corallo, to meet her on multiple occasions and pick up sketches and artwork from her. She was always warm, welcoming, and far too humble. He also said that her pop art style going back to the 50s has been a clear inspiration for many great artists working in the business to this day. And definitely, she was 97 years old. I failed to mention that Ole Anderson was 82 years old. And, you know, a lot of times when you're talking about wrestlers, they don't live to ripe old ages often. And 82, not too bad. 97, not too bad. And she was like, she just entered her commissions a little while ago and just celebrated the birthday, if I remember correctly. I said something on the show about it. It might have been when Joe was on. But R.I.P. Ramona Fradon. We're going to be getting into all sorts of Comics Pro conversation and stuff like that. But first, we're going to talk about last week's comics that were just so great, I have to mention them. Okay, take a sip first. Sometimes the comics are based on me reading them, word of mouth, or sales, which is sometimes word of mouth also. First up, haven't read this issue yet. I've read every issue before. Gods #5, a near sellout. Have like 1 or 2 more issues. And Jonathan Hickman's telling a story that people only recently found out, and it was reported on, I guess, that it's a mini-series. Yeah, I know. It's always been said that it was going to be a mini-series. So I just don't know what happens. You know, where's this reporting? Why is it the 5th issue comes out? And it's a mini-series, by the way. Edge of Spider-Verse, #1. I don't order a ton of them, but I do order them. There's always multiple covers, and every single one sold out. Each issue of Edge of Spider-Verse usually has some stupid spider character that got introduced, or maybe a reintroduction of a character. So I think in the next issue, it's going to be a new character, and that one with the wheelchair, maybe the wheelchair bound spider character. Hey man, it's not up to me. These things sold. It's sold out of from distribution. Ain't nobody talking about that. Oh, this is all sold out. Why aren't they printing more of this? I think they printed enough. Trust me. They'll go back to a second printing, and nobody's gonna care. Best of last week. Another sellout. Then I have to get a ton more, and I have to get more of number ones and more number twos of Fall of the House. Regardless of what people are saying about X-Men books, right now they're pretty hot. Not as hot as when it was Hoxpox, but it's picking up, and people see that the tunnel, the light is there at the end of it, and most of them are making the plunge to go ahead with this, and they're purchasing the book. I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about the story too much, but I enjoyed the first issues. All right. Books I read. Every single one of these I read. First up, and this is crazy talk, I know. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 304. Issues 301, 2, 3, and 4 are all from Kirkman's Skybound company at Image. But like every other issue prior, Larry Hama is still the writer from all the way back in the Marvel, days. Chris Mooneyham is a newer illustrator and is doing fantastic work on this book. Andy Kubert is lending his hand for the covers, and it's possibly the best G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero I've ever read. I love the silent interlude, and I love some of the stuff when we find out about Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, but that was my little kid brain. I never really liked the IDW or the DDP or whatever that company was that put out G.I. Joe. But this is pretty solid stuff. I'm okay with it. And I'm really enjoying it, and it's selling well. So it's meeting all my favorite things in the store. Next up, a book I wish sold a little bit better, but is selling well because, it really deserves it. And regardless of what Lane says about the first 5 issues in the annual, I think Superman by Joshua Williamson is really good, and it's gearing up to some big, big storylines in the future. And you should start reading it right now if you haven't already. Unfortunately, there seems to be a series of fill-in illustrators and not the original Jamal Campbell who did the first 5 or 6 issues. Even though everybody since then has been really, really solid, it's a shame that I'm not seeing more Jamal Campbell on this book because it deserves him and he deserves it. Other than that, Superman is very good, and that's the only reason why I put it as low as it did. Come on in and get it. If you would have told me at any time in my life that I'd been making a best of list and saying that it's also a very good seller, 2 G.I. Joe books in the same month, same week. This Cobra Commander, though, unlike A Real American Hero, is based in the Energon universe that Kirkman has created, which is Void Rivals, his series, Transformers, written and drawn for a time by Daniel Warren Johnson, and G.I. Joe, Duke, written by Joshua Williamson, and Cobra Commander, written by Joshua Williamson. Holy cow. That's 3 books by Joshua Williamson I'm mentioning in a row. This fantastic series. I like it a lot. You got Dreadnoks in it, and they're brutal. Cobra, I don't know. It kind of, this issue kind of reminded me of a more serious Venture Brothers. I liked it a lot, though. Incredible Hulk number 9. This artist is not the artist Nick Klein, but somebody I've never heard before, and the art is so very, very interesting. And I wish I would have got pictures to show you, but you just have to know that the transformation of the monster trying to come out of Bruce Banner's body is fantastic in this, and I just love it. It's not as Nick Klein but it's a different style and it's very good. Here we have a Nick Klein cover. The fill-in artists have been really good, but Klein is another thing altogether. But this issue is very good, and I think it's the one that I like the most as far as the writing is concerned. The story just gets me a little bit more, and it probably because it has something to do with, like, being in Louisiana, and it just kind of works. So this is a fun story. I like this one a lot, and I can't wait for the next one. And I know it's hard to believe, but a Jonathan Hickman book is in the top spot. Not only did it sell very, very well, I'm almost sold out of it, but I upped my numbers from number 1. And don't you worry, my number 3 is up from number 2. But get on in it now and read it. But I know what's going to happen. People are going to buy it and they're not going to read it, and they might fall off on getting it. And then something's going to happen, and then they're going to need to get all the issues, and they're going to be ready to read them. Firstly, you shouldn't wait. Secondly, just keep buying them if you are going to wait, because you know you're going to get there anyway, and you want it. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, finally uses his powers for the first time, and what a sucker this guy is. I don't know if I can believe that a guy that has 2 kids, I don't know what she does for a prior life, but Mary Jane, a pretty, a top model kind of lady, he has to have some sort of common sense. But when he's Spider-Manning it for the first time, he doesn't really show any of that. And that's the only part of the book that I really didn't love. Other than that, excellent art, fun story. Love the characterization of the different characters. Just maybe not that one aspect of the Peter Parker character. But dads are stupid, right? That is the best of last week. Bravo. What'd you like last week? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments after the fact, because I think it's supposed to help the show if you leave comments. So, let me know. Plus, I have some customers that came in recently. It's been raining a lot, and we had some really, 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 man, all the people that talk smack about California. You can talk smack about California all you want, but when you have days like we had last week, what are you going to do? How you going to beat that? How you going to beat that? And it's Bay Area style, too. It was so wonderful. Sitting out front, having a beer. On Sundays, I have a customer comes by. We have a little whiskey. Talk about all sorts of stuff, comic books. If my buddy Ryan comes by, we try and dissect Junior Baker Righteous Faker and how it applies to Butcher Baker Righteous Maker by Joe Casey. Just really deep conversations with people about all sorts of interesting things, and selling comic books. Not unlike what we're going to be doing tomorrow.
Why, we sell a dozen a day in this price range.
Who buys them? Tax collectors?
Even if I had to pay, it would be worth it. Just for the occasion.
What, is something big going on somewhere?
It's going on right here. It's a big night.
Well, it's just an old run-of-the-mill Wednesday. Well, the calendar's full of them.
That's right. Calendar's full of them. Tomorrow is going to be your first chance to buy at Fantastic Comics. All sorts of stuff that I'm looking forward to. Holy cow, there's a book coming out tomorrow. I cannot wait. This is the kind of thing that, like, when you're excited about something, you want to go on into the store. These guys talking about parking lot comics. Like, I can't wait to unwrap it like it's a porno or something. I can't wait to unwrap it in my car and see what I'm going to, read it. Stop it. I have one guy, though, comes in and he buys his comics and he's going to go pick up his kid because we're right next to a school. And he gets his comics and he reads some waiting. Just a good old time, man. Comic books, you know what I mean? It's what it's all about. And if you want to come on into the store, we're open Wednesday through Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m. Otherwise, if you are so inclined and haven't done so, think about subscribing to this channel, hitting the bell for notifications, and hitting the thumbs up if you enjoy what you're watching. Also know that we have social medias out there. It's all under Fantastic Comics, especially our Substack. It's kind of like a newsletter. We're abusing Substack, and it doesn't cost anything either. Now, if you're interested in lending us some money, you can do that by being a patron on Patreon of ours. Again, Fantastic Comics. You can figure it out. All right. Excuse me. First up, Amazing Spider-Man 44, The End of the Gang War. I read it already. I think John Romita Jr. did another great job, bang-up job. And the story worked out pretty well. And who controls things in the end? If you haven't read it and you want to make a guess because you've been reading, let me know what you think. Otherwise, I'm taking your word that you haven't read it yet. This was a pretty good issue. I liked it a lot, and I recommend people pick it up. Nothing key happened. Just some really fun stuff. Wolverine number 44. This is the Sabretooth War Part 4. Ben Percy and Victor Laval. And I hear it's really good, but I just don't really care. But I'm happy that people are liking this, and I've been selling out of it, having to get the reprints. So something's going well with it. Green Arrow, number 9, an ongoing series for how long? Joshua Williamson, that name again, and Sean Isaac. I haven't been reading it lately. I guess he's back in the picture and in the real world. He's shaking hands with Amanda Waller. That's going to be a thing going forward in DC Comics. Again, we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. There you go, Green Arrow coming out. Sells well for me. Detective Comics, number 1082. This is a Ram V comic book. I don't know who this Federici is, but I'm sure it's just great. I can't read that many Batman books. Y'all know I just took a year off of reading it last year. And although I am pretty much caught up with the Batman stuff that's going on right now in the regular title, and I'm also reading Batman Off-World, I'm just not going to read any detective unless it's somebody really special working on it. And I'm sorry, Ram V just isn't that. It pains me that someone special isn't working on Immortal Thor, because to not read a Thor book right now is very, very sad. And although I have customers that seem to really enjoy it, I do not. Nonetheless, this is a very good seller, and it has really good covers too. Usually multiples. I like this one. Yeah, there you go. Al Ewing just doesn't really do it for me, but I'm happy that he does for other people. I read Avengers Twilight number 1, and I really enjoyed it. I sold out of it, got more of it, sold out of it, got more of it, sold out of number 2, got more of that, sold out of number 2, and now number 3 is out. I have not read number 2 yet, and I did like the first issue. Again, really cool Alex Ross cover. I didn't like the first one. Daniel Acuna is doing some really inspired work as far as that first issue is concerned. And I did like the story. I guess if I had to really boil it down to anything in one sentence, it'd be like Avengers meets Dark Knight. Or, as other people have said to me, it's like Dark Knight 2. And yeah, you're right. It is a lot like that. Resurrection of Magneto. I was in a conversation with my customers today, a few of them, and I found out that they don't like Resurrection of Magneto. And I was thinking to myself, I thought out loud to them. I said, wow, I wish you guys would have read that and let me know before I finished my ordering, because it comes out tomorrow. But, maybe the I say I don't even really consider it Resurrection of Magneto. What I say is if you get Immortal X-Men, then you want to keep getting this. Dead X-Men. Now, I definitely knew that I had customers that didn't enjoy this. But I found out on issue 1 after it already came in, and it was because it was based off of, I don't know, whatever the other Steve Fox X-Men miniseries was a little while ago. I really worry for the reboot when they get done with the whole Fall of X stuff. Power Girl number 6. All right, the first casualty to the Gary Frank being exclusive over at Ghost Machine. No more good A covers for Power Girl. I don't know. It's maybe you like this. I don't know. Here's a book I already read, Duke number 3 by Joshua Williamson. That name again. And I told you I had been enjoying this, so much so that I've already read this one. And yeah, man, just really, really good. The Baroness is really cool in this one, and Duke is pretty cool too. Punisher number 4. I hear people bitching about this. I hear nobody really liking it, but I sell out of it all the time and have to reorder. I'm still not changing my numbers. I'd rather reorder it than have too many. But people seem to be enjoying it at my store, so maybe you should get your thumb out of your ass. Oh, a lot of times I get Diamond late because I'm not there to get it today. So I can't, receive it. So it comes a little bit later in the day, but this is one of the books I'm really looking forward to. Jim Zub is killing it on Conan the Barbarian. Dougie Braithwaite's the fill-in artist for Robert De La Torre. And this is just a really, really good storyline. I love this book, and you should too. But I understand. Not everybody likes Conan. Giant Size Fantastic Four. This is a one-shot. It's also going to be one of many giant-size books that are going to be coming out throughout the year. This one's written by Fabian Nicieza. This is a great Brian Hitch cover that I assume we'll never get another one of because he's exclusive to Ghost Machine. But it doesn't matter. Marvel will take any old scrap paper and make it a cover. I forget who the artist was inside, and other than The Thing, who always had these really faraway shots in the Fantastic car, it seemed like it was pretty good, but I wasn't able to read it. It's also really thick, and it has a backup story that's Jack Kirby Submariner story from back in the early, the 30s of Fantastic Four. So you get a little bit new and some old too, and it's really cool seeing the versions of them. Next up, we have Spider-Punk number 1. The second volume of Spider-Punk, another miniseries. This one also written by Cody Ziegler, as was the last one, which did very well for me. Then this movie came out, the Spider-Verse movie, and everybody came in asking about Hobie and Spider-Punk and all this stuff. And then tick, 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 the months went by, and now we have Spider-Punk number 1. Does anybody care? Well, if you like variant covers, you will. And one of them, a foil one, which I'm going to rake you over the coals for, is drawn by Ian Bertram. And let me tell you, it is amazing. And you're going to be willing to pay for it. Canary by Scott Snyder and Dan Panosian. There was some printing snafu, and number 2 didn't come in. And I was finally able to get a few, but not as many as I sold of number 1. And now number 3 is out. I don't know what's going on, but this Dark Horse book is cost me money. All right, next up. Fire and Ice Tigra. Fire and Ice, that movie, that Frank Frazetta, Ralph Bakshi movie from back when I was a kid, is a miniseries that's taking forever to come out. And now we have a one-shot featuring Tigra. Still written by Bill Willingham, as is the series. And wow, what a wonderful Dan Panosian cover. So come on in and get it. You know you want it. Power Pack Into the Storm. Louise Simonson, June Brigman, those are the creators of Power Pack from way back when I wasn't reading Power Pack. Now you can too. I mean, you can actually read Power Pack. So come on in and get it. Louise Simonson's a great talent. June Brigman, solid art. And if you like little kid characters having adventures, nice, fun. Before, the powers become the drugged out horrors that they are now. This is when they were cute. Come get this. All right. I got to wet my whistle for this by Chrome. That's the cover I'm getting. Because of course I would. I love Jorge Zafino, and his kid Gerardo Zafino is amazing. And if only he did some interiors. Look at that. Oh, you don't get in a fight against that guy. You know what I mean? Unless you have all those arrows and more shooting that guy down. And even then, Here's your main cover. Joe Jusko, classic Marvel, classic Conan artist. Great painter, great fantasy, classic comic book guy. The inside is going to be a guy by the name of Von Fafner, and this is his cover. I can't wait. The story, I can't remember. I'm thinking off the top of my head. It's written by somebody cool. Oh, I know. John Arcudi. Oh, man. John Arcudi, who along with Doug Mahnke created The Mask. I love John Arcudi. He's great. Some of his Aquaman, now that's your best Aquaman ever. Pat Gleason on art. But man, look at this. That's my cover right there, baby. But any of these are going to be great. And I might, get them all. I love Conan, and you should too. And you got 2 good reasons. And if you're counting all the covers, like 5 or 7 good reasons to get it. Titan's doing some really killer stuff, and it's also going to have backup stories by Patrick Zurcher doing Solomon Kane. It's going to be all Robert E. Howard comics in there. Oh, can't wait. Great comic book stuff. Looking forward to it. And that is new comic book day for tomorrow. Let me bring up these pictures really quick. We'll get to to you guys in just a moment. Let's see. I know some of these are all out of order. Okay. You know what? Let's do that one too. A little showing off. Okay. Lots of comic book stuff coming out tomorrow. Cannot wait. 2 great weeks in a row. Loved Incredible Hulk 9, but I don't know what you said. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it wasn't that important. Just comics. But okay. He is okay. Transformations and Monsters was gross as heck. I agree. The transformation was brutal, awesome stuff. Man, it was so cool. It was like, the monster ripping through the mouth and the eye of Bruce Banner. It was great. Yeah, it was just a really good. That issue was my favorite one so far. And the other ones have been good. They just kind of meandered a little bit longer than they needed to. But as far as like a first issue, man, it was really good. Not sure what I laughed at harder, Shocker or Peter's daughter catching him in the suit. Yeah, that's another thing. But I actually like Black Panther #1 more than Ultimate Spider-Man 1 and 2. I agree. And that's a great thing when we can say that the Hickman book might be the lesser of them because, it's such a high watermark. That we're, God, what could Peach Momoko? What could she do? Come on. This could be great. 2 issues of Conan tomorrow. Can't wait. I know. Power Curl slow crash into oblivion. Man, when are we going to finally see Scarlet show up in Duke? I know. Just read Captain America 6 tonight. Kind of forgettable end of story arc. Yeah. Winter World by Chuck Dixon and Zafino from Eclipse Comics. Oh, I remember when they did a reprint. It was probably Oni that did that. And I was like, we're going to get people on this. I love Chuck Dixon. Zafino's a great artist. You know, nobody cared. But great stuff, without a doubt. I didn't let everybody know when I should have that we are going to be doing, since Ultimate Spider-Man was the #1 comic of last week, we have a 1 in 25 variant that we're going to be giving away in a spin right now. So let me get the little video I lost, and now we can show it.
Bill, spin my arm.
Come on, come on, come on! Come on, come on! I win a Winnebago. I win a Winnebago! No! So close. I spun it a little too hard.
That Peggy Hill is such a bitch. Let me tell you. All right. Look at that. That's what you want to see. This wheel here with all the names of everybody in 1 week that purchased the book. Not if they purchased 2 of the books or variant covers of the books. Just if you purchase the book. And now all of them are going to have a chance to go home with this beautiful Deke Ruan cover that you see in the center of the wheel. Good luck, everyone. I'm rooting for y'all. And here we go around. Oh, Talking Soul missed out. It's Chris B. Congratulations, Chris B. Very good. I want you to know that we all think of you as...
You will win a ha-ha! You will win a ha-ha!
That's right. You are a winner, a wiener. Congratulations. That'll be in your hold file. I don't have to get a hold of you. See you in about a month. Too much beer. It's getting cloggy. All right. We're going to talk about some stuff. I'm very excited about Comics Pro just came and went last week. For those of you that don't know, it's retailers and publishers getting together under the Comics Pro umbrella. And for anybody that subscribes and pays the dues to be a part of Comics Pro, then you will be able to go on a trip to a select city and go and meet with the publishers and talk with the people that are there. Sometimes it's celebrities. Last year, the cartoonist kayfabe guys were there. When I went, and it was in Las Vegas, Viz was unleashing their signature series, and that's like Pluto and 20th Century Boys, and we were in Vegas. Smoking indoors and drinking beers outside is like awesome. You know what I mean? The not being able to have weed, that's a weird thing, you know, at least at the time. It's all right. It's not like, you know, really great shakes unless you want to get a grab some dice from the dice company Alliance. You get some comic books that nobody else can get. You put them out online, and then you make the money for the plane ticket that took you there, or the hotel that you're staying in, or whatever. So it can be lucrative in its own way, but you're rubbing elbows with people, and I personally rather hang out with my customers. And if my customers or any of you out there are so inclined, you might want to let Image Comics know that, because last week they announced that they are announcing their first Image Select Retailer Award. And all you have to do is search up Image on Instagram or probably Twitter and go to their page, and then there's a link, and you can nominate fantastic comics. And they'll ask you reasons why, what you might want to suggest. And here are some of the reasons why you might care: exemplary customer service, thoughtful and exciting hand-selling recommendations, efforts fostering a welcoming and inclusive atmosphere, and easy to browse shelving. And I'm working on that part, but anybody that knew me in the past knows how we really are. You see the video at the very beginning. I think this is a customer outreach program for everybody out there. And I think Fantastic Comics definitely deserves it. And you know what? If that's not any reason to do it, then they made Sex Criminals made a freaking comic book with my freaking employees on it. And maybe that's a reason why they should do it, because that's my employees right there. And that's them on a Sex Criminals holding Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky's picture up, holding their picture up. A Brimception. Just say Brimception. That's the reason why. Look it up. Yeah, that's the reason why Fantastic Comics. And you know what? Next week, when we talk about the Select Retailer Award, I'm going to give you another reason to tell them. And this one is about all the Image founders. Okay. So think about doing that for me. I never ask you guys to do anything about like the Eisners or anything like so many other stores in my area have. But this one, I mean, Jesus, I don't know, because my first appearance was in Savage Dragon. Maybe that's the reason why my store first appearance is in Savage Dragon. You know what I mean? Maybe that's another reason. So Image Select Retailer Award. You can go on over there, link in their bio to nominate a store, and let's spam them. You know what I mean? Let's get the power. Next time I'm thinking critical, that's what we're working towards. Remind me when you see me there, okay? So at the retailer summit, Marvel was there, and they wanted to immediately let everybody know that Blood Hunt, the explicit red band cover, it's probably going to have a bag and everything. These are not going to be available online. Now, they didn't say it wouldn't get reprinted, maybe in trade or whatever. But you can only get these very, very explicit and very, very increased in price comic books at your local comic store. And I have a video of Wes talking about that. And I was going to we were going to do this last week, and I got rid of everything except this.
But there's another way they're absolutely going to bend you and retailers over. Marvel announced special red band editions of Blood Hunt, the bloodiest event in Marvel Comics history. The mature rated Blood Hunt red band editions are labeled with a reader discretion is advised warning and a notice of explicit content. They are poly-bagged and contain additional pages and more graphic art, too explicit for the regular edition. While Marvel has published uncensored comics under its more adult-oriented imprints like Epic Comics and Marvel Max, the Blood Hunt Red Band editions marks the first time that a different edition of the same Marvel comic book is produced for more mature readers.
And I think that's great. I love it because, man, I need some death and destruction in my mainstream Marvel comics. You know what I mean? No, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. I love a gimmick, and that's a gimmick, and I think that's one I want to read. This Blood Hunt, I'm getting hyped just by my customers. You know, it's funny because like all my customers were coming in and talking about it, and then I see that video that Wes did, you know, thanking me. Well, not the video, but I'm thinking on the aficionados, thanking me for the comic books, and I don't know what I was saying. I see him saying that and blah 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 blah. Anyway, get this red band thing. It's going to be great. I think I'm totally down. Next up, oh yeah, Marvel. Is this the right one? Yes, it is. Okay. Marvel also announced that they are going to have a Wolverine Deadpool backup by Ryan North and Javier Garron, whose art I really like. Ryan North is doing a pretty darn good job on Fantastic Four, but I am a little bit behind. And this story is going to be backup features in a number of different comic books. And, you know, it's trying to, unlike Spider-Punk, this is trying to capitalize on the very successful Super Bowl commercial for Deadpool 3, which Marvel and Sony and all them hope, you know, Deadpool is going to be successful for, you know, them in the theaters also. Wolverine's going to be in it, Hugh Jackman. Some people are pretty psyched about it. Other people, but they're interested. You know, let's see what this could do. And Marvel, like I said, is finally, you know, doing something at, you know, a pretty good time. And what are they going to do? They're going to do these backup stories by a pretty competent writer, a really good artist, and two really great characters in a movie. And they're going to put them in other comic books, so you have to buy those comic books. So I have a customer who loves getting Deadpool, Deadpool anything, Deadpool Wolvie anything, definitely. So they're going to have to initially get Hulk number 14. Now, I wish Marvel would come out and say, this is the only way you're ever going to be able to get this comic book. You can get it digitally with those comics, but you can't get it any other way. But you know, there's going to be a collection that's going to come out that's going to have this. Also, they're going to have a mini-series written by Joe Kelly with art by Adam Kubert. You've heard that name already. Well, you heard Andy at least. Deadpool and Wolverine World War III. Let me see if I got that picture right here. Oh, come on. Well, trust me, there's a war. Here it is. World War III. WW3. Joe Kelly, for those of you that don't know, is a man of action. For those of you that don't know, he's probably, I mean, let's be real. If we're talking about any one writer that probably had the most significant hand in creating the Deadpool character, it's going to be Joe Kelly. Significant. Fabian Nicieza, who wrote it beforehand, along with Rob Liefeld plotting and everything. Look, I'm trying to sell that giant size Fantastic Four. It was pretty fun what I read of it. But Fabian is not, you know, an A-lister when it comes to writing. Whatever grade he settles in, I think he's at the top of that grade. But we're not thinking of him when we're talking about our favorites. You just have to know that. Like you say, oh, I really love Fabian, and I love Scott Lobdell, and I like Chris Claremont, and like Marv Wolfman, and I like Alan Moore. Okay. Those are your guys, right? Or maybe say like Keith Giffen or Mike Grell or something like that. And, you know, you start slotting them a little bit. Even if you don't want to do something like that, you probably do. Well, Joe Kelly is the top of the list when it comes to doing Deadpool stories. Unless you're talking about Deadpool Max, and that's a little bit different. All right, let's go on to some other business. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to have a ton of stuff going out. IDW is like, we lost our G.I. Joe, we lost our Transformers, and holy shit, those things are doing great. We suck. But you know, maybe we don't totally suck because we still got TMNT. And so what are they going to do? They're going to do a TMNT Saturday morning one-shot with Usagi Yojimbo. There are still Usagi Yojimbo fans out there, and when these two guys get together, it's a big deal. So yay. Also, Turtles is going to have, at the end of their 150th issue, they're going to have a bunch of brand new ongoings. One of them is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutination, and it's going to have a plethora of writers and artists, people you've seen before, like Tom Waltz, Sophie Campbell. Don't say the wrong name. Sophie Campbell and others. I all of a sudden am very wary about where Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to be going forward, because the thing when I'm trying to get into it now is it's just so many anthropomorphic animals. And already that's normally a barrier for me. But in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by Eastman and Laird, there weren't like all these, rhino characters like from the cartoon and stuff. And what the Turtles has done now is it's kind of taken that cartoon aspect like this with all their villains and all their fun, kooky characters. And they're kind of making them like serious versions. And so you have cat people and you have all sorts of things like that running around. And it's like, I don't know if I can do that. And then, of course, later on in the year, Jason Aaron's going to be doing a one-shot TMNT Alpha, and then a number 1 that's going to be June and July. So there's a lot of Turtle stuff that's going on. There's going to be some one-shots and things like that. So if you're a Turtle fan, can Jason Aaron do it yet again? He's revitalized his career to a lot of fans out there that thought, I don't know if I can handle this guy anymore. And he's killing it on his Batman book. He's killing it on his action book. Here he's going to be doing Turtles. He's going to be doing that revamped Ultimate DC line, whatever we're really calling it. So there's some really special things that are going on. Okay, what else? Let's see here. These are all out of order. So, all right, gotcha, man. Mad Cave are trying to step up. They already have that Joe Corallo, King Arthur, Knights of the something thing. I can't remember. It's like Knights of the Round Table, some obscure cartoon that's on YouTube. Go look at my Joe Corallo interview. Anyway, these guys are trying to step up, and they got a bunch of different licenses. And, sometimes when you're a company and you're here and you want to get to that next level, one of the things you can do is get a license. If it's cheap enough license and you get people really caring, then you can have a hit. Now, we're not talking Transformers, but Gotcha Man, that's a pretty big deal. Battle of the Planets, when I was a kid growing up, Keop, Tiny, Princess, Mark, Jason. Did I get them all? They were awesome. And that cartoon was sweet. And it's based off this anime called Gatchaman. And, we in America, we take things and we chop it up and we make way more of it, from their movies and whatnot. I think actually this was a series. But Colin Bunn's going to be writing it. It's a solid writer for Mad Cave, and this isn't like this isn't a slight from anybody that worked there before. I really like Joe's work. I can't wait to see him on a bigger title. Like one of the main companies. You know, you got a lot of the things you love about Joe, and a guy that knows the shit, and a guy that writes well. He's working for Mad Cave. I can't imagine what they're paying him. So, like, they got Cullen Bunn now, and Cullen Bunn's out there. He's got a deal with Dark Horse doing his Cullen Bunn bullshit horror stuff. I've got customers that like him, that know him. He did Six Gun. I think that's going to be coming back. So, he's an established writer that can get his stuff done, that reads well. And here we have Gotchamon, and right now we've got Transformers selling well, we've got Thundercats selling well, we've got a plethora of other properties like Godzilla out there, movies that go along with that people are actually enjoying and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of comics that are licensed materials that are out there, and I think right now we're seeing a lot of companies out there trying to figure out what that one license is that they might be able to really catch fire. And Mad Cave might have gotten the one. Like this, I mean, it all depends on what they had to pay or what they have to give after the fact. But if they can, man, sometimes you just got to put that extra money on that thing. If Cullen Bunn's more than all the people that work at Mad Cave, and Chris Bautista is a very solid artist. He's worked at Marvel. He's worked at DC. This is a guy that can get his stuff done, and it's going to look solid. And we could have a real good ongoing. And then they're going to have a bunch of one shots and mini series. The only problem then is that one of the mini series is going to be written by Steve Orlando, and it's like, how can you, like, if I'm making allowances for Cullen Bunn. Chris Batista's solid, but he's not a superstar. You know what I mean? Nobody's like going, oh man, I gotta get that next Chris Batista comic book. But I mean, if I was doing a comic book and I found out Chris Batista was doing it, I'd be like, yeah, someone who gets the stuff done, it's gonna look exactly like it needs to look, and I'm gonna be super happy about it. But if you could get like, somebody super special like Daniel Warren Johnson, then you're gonna be really doing well. But Steve Orlando, ugh. And then the one-shots are going to be by Tommy Lee Edwards. And I was like, oh, yeah, Tommy Lee Edwards. That's great. That's perfect. And then I find out he's writing it. And artists that write, and you might as well just have Cullen Bunn write the other one. What is this thing? Oh. All right. Going from Mad Cave, we're going to boom. This is Berserker. Who the hell's doing Berserker? I got too many notes. We might have to go back to this one. Here's your Gotchamon. Free Comic Book Day is going to see the release of this book. I'll definitely have it in. Not a whole lot of copies, but maybe I can up my order now. So yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to be released at Free Comic Book Day also. Here's that other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Night Watchers. Did I have information on this one? Yeah, I think I did. Eric Burnham, another artist, is going to be writing this. And then Pharaoh Pay is going to be doing the art. So, cool cover. Next up, we have Flash Gordon on Free Comic Book Day. That's great. Let me see. I have a piece of thing here with that. Hold on one second. Crap. I thought I had this well done for you guys. Let me see here. Okay, Flash Gordon. So this is another Mad Cave comic book. So here they're stepping up even higher. Again, I don't really think that this should cost them too much money, but Flash Gordon, anybody under 60 that gives a shit. But they couldn't keep him away from a Flash book. And Mad Cave probably, God, I don't know, man. I think this guy's a real up-and-comer. And don't forget it. You should give us a thumbs up if we can get to over 100 likes. It definitely increases the possibility of us getting Jeremy Adams on the show. He is a relative by marriage of one of my customers. And boy, we could really impress this person to come on the show and maybe talk about this Flash Gordon series. Maybe have a little fun about the customers that you can expect to want to read a comic book like this. But here, check this out. Will Conrad is going to be doing the art, and Will Conrad's a really good illustrator. Dan Panosian, there's that name again, doing cover art. I think that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Yeah, real good stuff there. So, Mad Cave, they got two big ones with Flash and the Gatchaman. So, congratulations to Mad Cave, really stepping up. Marvel announced that they were going to have freebies that they're going to be giving away. One of the speakers for Marvel was Dan Buckley, and he talks about supporting the retailers with a $3.99 price for most of the Marvel titles. The exceptions, anything anybody cares about, anything with top talent, and of course your anniversary and special issues. But also they were going to have Marvel must-haves, which are free comics that collect issues that focus on currently popular characters. And the first one, as you can see right here, is Spider-Man and Deadpool, written by Joe Kelly with art by Ed McGuinness. This came out like 5 years ago, maybe. It was popular in my store for sure. And this is a good first issue. The other ones they're going to have are Immortal Thor #2. Oh, we already talked about my Thor thing. And then Miss Marvel, the New Mutant, which just came out recently, which is written by the star of the Marvels movie and the Miss Marvel television series, Iman. I can't remember her last name, if that's even her first name. But good on her. Good on Marvel, giving comics away, trying to suggest that they're going to have more $3.99 comic books than their other comic books. Really? But that's cool. I'm happy with that. This is all coming from ICV2, by the way. DC announced Absolute Power, their summer event, and their DC Finest collections. So not only are they going to have manga-sized, complete stories like Far Sector, Batman, Year One, All-Star Superman, Watchmen for like $10 a piece, but they're also going to have the DC Finest collections. But first, we're going to talk about this 4-issue miniseries written by Mark Waid with art by Dan Mora and featuring Amanda Waller, whose threat to remove all metahuman abilities worldwide compels Superman, Bats, and Wonder Woman and the other DC superheroes to join forces to stop her. Does that include Green Arrow? Better get that issue out tomorrow. Plus, leading up to that, there's a one-shot called Absolute Power Ground Zero by Waid and Mora, which will connect the final episode of the Superman story, House of Brainiac, to the Absolute Power miniseries. So that's great. Joshua Williamson is building to this House of Brainiac story and has been since the beginning. But it's starting to ramp up more now. Again, comic from last week. And Mark Waid and Dan Moore are going to be the entirety of this big series that's going to be big for DC. And that's pretty sweet. Also, Jim Lee announced that you already can see all the work that he's been doing on the omnibus edition of the Marvel DC crossover. So chances are that's going to be the first time in an official capacity Jim Lee has drawn X-Men. It's crazy. It's crazy. they got to get a poster of that. Here's those DC things we were talking about. These are going to be books that you want to read. When a person comes in and says to me, what Batman should I read? And you're like, oh man, here's Batman year 1, but I'll never be able to sell them Batman year 2. I'm just joking. It's not Miller and Mazzucchelli. And then here's the Superman one. Look at that. Oh, it's gonna have all sorts of cool old Supermans for like $35. And I think I had there was a Wonder Woman also, but I don't know where that one is. But believe me, that's a true statement. So that's cool. I'm glad that they're going to be going back and doing some cool collections so I could just get a thing of that and have it and not have to worry. The problem with comic books is that so much time takes place and so much continuity, and you get so bound down, you get so bound down to the ground. That's where we get all these arguments of people caring about something, whereas I didn't read that stuff, so I don't care about that. And your Spider-Man isn't my Spider-Man, etc., etc. Okay, we did 14. All right, what's this one? Check this out. Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime. 2 weeks ago, my customers were like, what? I gotta get this. I guess this is a mini series. I had it written down who was working on this, but now I'm missing everything. Let me just see if I can find it. It doesn't really matter other than that Alex Ross is. Oh, I think Jason Aaron's writing this. That's who it is. Jason Aaron's writing this, and Alex Ross is doing this B cover. So if you want that from me, or if you want it from your comic store, you should let people know. Holy cow, Jason Aaron's just doing everything. Oh, and he's doing this. That's who it is. He's doing the Berserker one shot for Boom. Like, he is just trying to up the ante as far as his work is concerned. All right, what's this one? Oh, that's the picture of the DC stuff. Pretty sweet. Dan Mora. Mark Waid finally doing something I gotta read. And that's pretty exciting. All right, what else? Oh, yeah, Neil Gaiman. He's going to be bringing Anansi Boys to comic books. Whoops. And Sean Martinborough is going to be doing the art, so good on that. And then, oh, yeah, this is the Buckley pledging to support retailers with a $3.99 price for most Marvel titles. There's also going to be Spidey and His Amazing Friends comic that's going to be a low-cost book to attract young readers. They've done that before. They had a Spider-Man comic book. Oops, I meant to do this. They had a Spider-Man comic book that Kurt Busiek and Patrick Olaf did. There were some issues by Mike Allred. He did an annual. So that was a bunch of stuff that got announced at Comics Pro. I'm sure there was a whole bunch of stuff, and they're still doling out some of the information, but Marvel trying to suggest that they're going to adjust the prices to be a little bit more accommodating to the customer. I think seeing people still want to talk about how many issues are going to be in the Blood Hunt, they should start paying attention to that also. The thing that was, when Marvel was really selling a lot of comic books, they didn't have a lot of comic books, but there wasn't a lot of stuff to do all the time either. And what it is even again, if every book was great, it's still predatory. You could put this backup story in a series of the other books. Just price it up $1 more, and then you don't have to have 5 other books, that type of stuff. We could have a series of backup stories and all the other ones. In every miniseries, there's going to be that one shot, but in like 5 parts or 4 parts or whatever the mini series are going to be. Ta-da! If you really cared, get that other $1 for that comic book, but then they get that extra story. And look, I'm going to be buying this anyway. It's got Spider-Man in it. Now I'm getting the Kazar backup or whatever the hell it might be. That'd be things I would say to the publishers when they come to stuff like that. Like, you know, you do so many covers. Just have one really solid cover. Everybody's going to want to buy it, really. It doesn't really help all the time when I have a customer that buys more than one anyway, though. So don't be too stingy, Marvel and DC. Vegas is full of weed now, Evil Semp says. Evil Semp was the person not only that shot a video with me and is secure, number 2 is secure behind our Fantastic Comics YouTube paywall. It is going to eventually be up on Patreon. It's a good evergreen video. Also, he was there with me in Vegas. We saw Love together. Well, it was Love, right? That was the name of it. Lane Kramer. You'll wanted more people parting with their money for stupid Marvel gimmicky stuff? Not necessarily. Just that Ian Bertram cover is amazing. And I can't help it, but a bagged comic to open is super fun. Knowing that it's going to have extra pages and, you know, a disembowelment. That'd be great. I won't lie. This Red Band thing is stupid and just a waste of money. Wait, I don't know if that's lying. I don't even think I was going to suggest that. Oh, I lifted Laura. I'm so glad you said that and not Joe. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. Hoping Thundercats gets better. The first issue was suck. That's what it was. Am I wrong that hearing this Ultimate DC could be like a line? Oh, please God. Line-wide relaunch again is making me cringe hardcore. That even like Green Lantern, Sinister Sons, etc. will all just end in August. Sinister Sons #1 was very good. I read that late. That David LaFuente, God, he's fun on art, and it really works for the story, but the story is so much more than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's good. It's a really good one. That Berserker cover is dope, dude. You got to see the Steve Scroach standalone. I had a person come in, and I still have the standalone issues of Berserker up because I keep them up for a long time. And a customer came in, oh, I love that series. And then they saw the one-shots, and they're like, oh, I like this one. And I don't like that one. They're talking about the Steve Scris. And I'm like, holy cow. You're talking about like... We're talking like active artists right now. He's got to be a top 7. You know what I mean? Dude, year 2 is cool too. Alan Davis and Todd McFarlane. Yeah, I know. I'm just joking. Does anyone trust Marvel to keep prices at $3.99 for more than a few months? Eric Breen said. Hi, Eric. I don't know. It depends on what they need to do as far as their company is concerned. I've suggested that if somehow Disney could make Marvel part of their marketing, they don't ever need to make money, you know, because they cost less than all the marketing. Their entire operation costs less than the marketing for an entire X-Men movie. So for however many years it's going to be before they make that X-Men movie, all the X-Men comic books and any comic that X-Men's in could be part of their account, you know, their marketing. And I don't think it needs to make money. So $3.99, they could. I mean, they can also just sell it less to us. Less selling titles are going to do the $3.99 price point. Yes. Well, titles that they want to get over. And I don't really think that's necessarily a bad thing. The thing that's weird is when I was a kid, before they went to 75 cents and they did direct market, that was Moon Knight, Micronauts, and Kazar. And I think Spider-Woman maybe. And those were like the titles that kind of needed to get canceled because they didn't sell that well. 2 or 3 of them were my favorites. But those got the higher price. Now it's the other way around. Well, I know I always sell Spider-Man at X amount, so that's the $4.99. Like, It's crazy. Why is DC putting A covers on the inside of B covers now? I guess for people that feel like they missed out. Untold Tales of Spider-Man by Busick and Olaf. Joe Sinnott came out of retirement to ink Mike Allred. Beautiful artwork. Plain, you know it. I love the Steve Scroce Berserker. Was disappointed to find out it was a one-shot. Yeah. All right, Lane's going to bed. Everybody's going to get out to Lane. We're going to be ending in just a few minutes. When is Punisher Frank Castle coming back? Not till he gets those kids where they need to go, man. Not till he gets those kids where they need to go. Everybody, let me stick around. I'm just going to play this video. That's right. It's almost the end of the show. It's where I want to let everybody know that these are my patrons right here on Patreon. Thank you very much. These quick months are tough. I also had to do some car repairs and life. It's so hard sometimes. But you make it all a little bit better, a little easier, and I really, really do thank you. I mean, this is from the bottom of my heart. I really mean it. I wish everything was like, don't do it. You don't need to. But anybody that thanks me, or likes this enough, or likes the store, or wants to support a store, buy comics. That's the way to go. You don't even have to get them. Go to another store, buy comics. But, if you can, buy comics from me. But if you can't, this is what you might want to do. You don't want to be like George Costanza.
My last name is Costanza. That's Italian. So you and I are kind of like countrymen. Huh? Paisanos.
650 your change.
Yes. And I always take care of my paisanos. So here's a little something.
Antonio!
Si!
Vieni qua! Questa miserabile patron...
Yeah, so thank you very much, everybody. Owning a comic store. I went through and did those True Romance couple clips. I got another one coming because they might get shut down if I played it early. So I want to do it at the end. Firstly, that's a great movie. Really good. But there's a lot of comic book stuff, and a lot of the early Tarantino stuff, there's a lot of comic book references. So I'm going to try and pull those out. They're really fun. But True Romance, man, it's a bunch of comic book stuff, especially in the very beginning. And if you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend it. Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette. There's a vicious bathroom scene in that. But these are all my patrons, man. Thank you so much. So many former customers that have moved. So many people I know from yesterday and still do. And so many others, man. It's really awesome. I really appreciate it. And I don't know, that card will expire eventually. If you don't know that it's happening. But yeah, look forward to a video if you go on Patreon, because I'll be working on that next Monday for you guys to get that up. So thank you very much. Stick around. I got another video after this song, and I'll see you next week.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco, trying to make connections with their blemish-free complexions, and just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. And Lucy and Ramona were trying to figure out if he was gay. The three of them were standing, staring at each other, when the light behind their eyes blew each other's cover. The ancient code was branded, and each of them was handed a ticket to their kingdom, 'cause they saw their brother sunset sun. Sunset Sam. Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn. She left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same place that made the famous Sunset Sam.